Hello and welcome to episode 1 of the Gaming Matters podcast, where we talk with real people about the real impact gaming has had on their lives, hosted by me, David White. I'm joined today by Faxxius, the Greek god of streaming from twitch.tv/Faxxius. Welcome to the show. Thank you for being here.
Good morning, and thank you very much. Do appreciate it.
So, real quick here, how did you get your start in gaming?
Oh man, gaming overall. My dad made the biggest mistake in the world when he put a Nintendo in my bedroom when I was really young, and it had a copy. It had one of those triple game copies of Mario, Track Meet, and Duck Hunt, and it was a very, very slippery slope from there.
Gaming can be very addicting.
Absolutely, it became something I have way too much fun doing. Obviously in moderation, but yeah, I mean, you fall in love with it early and you fall in love with it often. It's going to stick around for a while.
So, of those 3 games, which would you say you played the most of, out of curiosity?
Oh, Mario. When I was a kid, I could never beat it. My dad would come in my room, play it a little bit, and he could get through the entire game. I would play it. And when I say kid, I'm talking like 3, 4 year old. I could get probably 3 or 4 worlds in. I couldn't do it. But I wouldn't stop trying. And then I don't know, from there just kept trying, kept trying. I actually need to go back and finally beat the game now that I'm sitting here thinking about it. So thank you for giving me a goal.
So what kind of games do you play now?
Nowadays, gosh, it's such a spread. There's the games that everybody sees me play live, a lot of the high speed, fast paced shooters like your Warframe, your Apex Legends, Hades, although that's not really a shooter, that's more of just your roguelite. Obviously, roguelites, Hades, Dead Cells, um, and then off stream, just the entire gambit of games that I play just to relax to myself. Probably the most popular of that would be like your Grand Strategy or your 4X, like Stellaris. I spend way too much time just sitting here in my chair in the dark playing Stellaris on a Saturday night, just because it's to me it's very easy to just sit back and play. Another person will fire that thing up and see way too many uh, different things they have to keep track of. But for me, I'm just like, oh, flip through about 20 different menus. I'm good to go. And then like Rainbow Six Siege, which I'm too terrible to play live. And then even some sports games. I know right now my big grind is Formula One 2020. Just another game that I'm too terrible to play live, so I just kind of keep it to myself. I mean, yeah, it's about what I play. It's very wide gambit, although everybody sees me play only about 3 or 4 games a week.
All right. There's definitely a wide variety of games.
Absolutely. I I've tried to even pigeonhole myself to just like a few, and just there's so many different experiences as far as games that are available. Like I'm just flipping through my Steam library. I see like Endless Space 2, Europa Universalis, other good 4X games, Due Process, which is a new, team-based shooter that's coming out, the Borderlands series, Dark Soul. We're not going to talk about Dark Souls. Motorsports Manager, another good racing slash simulator game. Um, yeah, just literally the full gambit.
So on the show, we like to talk about the impact that gaming has had on people's lives. So I am obligated to then ask this question: what game would you say has had the biggest impact on you, and
Oh
why?
wow!
I know it's a big question.
Oh, hit me with the big ones. Um, I would probably say Warframe, mainly because I found the game pretty early in my streaming career. Back in the day, at least with the Stream Texas group, had quite a bit more few, quite a bit more. Wow, I cannot do grammar today. Quite a few more people that were playing it in the Stream Texas group. They would always be talking about different things going on, and I finally decided to pick it up and start playing. Realized, oh hey, this is a pretty fun looter shooter. Next thing I know, I'm starting a whole new character and I'm doing everything 100% live. And the friends that I've met through it, the endless grinding I've done with friends. I know this is a game you could very easily have 2, 3, 4, 5 hours just disappear while you're, queuing up with friends trying to get all the good loot. Um, and everything it's given me through the streaming world as well. I was Warframe was the game that really helped me start to find myself as a streamer. As weird as that kind of sounds, I was playing it a lot right when I was starting to kind of find my groove, and it has a special place in my heart for that because I grew with the game as I grew my community. It's one of the few games that I would love to someday hopefully become a Warframe partner, which that would just be, top of the mountain. I'm done. I can retire now, happy.
Warframe is a really good game.
Yes, it is. I'm sitting here looking. We actually have our big. They were supposed to have the big convention here in. Actually, I think it was supposed to be now, but obviously, due to everything going on in the world with human malware, um, they're doing a digital event. So everybody's getting all excited for that. And I've had to take a little bit of a break from it recently, just because there is such a thing as grinding a game too hard,
Yeah, burnout is
and
real.
the burnout was very real, and I unfortunately hit that. And this week I'm finally dipping my toes back in, and I'm seeing all this hype going on around the game because we're about to get like a new sector or a new section of the game open up. So the excitement's real.
So I want to kind of transition from gaming in general to your content.
Okay.
So you mentioned early on that you were a Warframe streamer. Was that how you would describe yourself, or would you more describe yourself as a variety streamer when you started out, who just played a lot of Warframe? Like, what was how did you really get your start there?
Ooh. In the beginning, I was a full variety streamer. I didn't really have a game that I played more than anything. Very, very beginning, I actually didn't want to. I didn't want my main focus to be Twitch streaming. Way, way, way back in the day. My main focus when I first started everything was to be a YouTuber, and I was actually going to talk about politics and everything like that. It wasn't. It wasn't the political climate that got me to walk away from it. It was like you look at how much work you have to put into streaming, and you look at how much work you have to put into YouTube. When I started trying to film and set everything up for YouTube, I realized, oh no, this is not something I can do as easily as I wanted to. Whereas, Twitch streaming, you can easily just flip on a camera and a mic and you're good. Obviously, you're not going to become, the next Dr. Lupo just by doing that, or you could. You never know. And I realized slowly as I started playing how much work is needed. And I kind of found myself as I was beginning, like, hey, I kind of like this variety stuff, but I would like to find a game that I can hunker down with and play more of and enjoy. And really, I set out on set out on that adventure to try to find something, and I went through like actually playing Stellaris Live. I regret that deeply because there's a lot of downtime in that game, and at least back when I played it, I didn't know how to fill dead air. So there would be large periods of me just sitting there looking at my screen, just wide-eyed, waiting for something to happen so I could comment on it. Heroes of the Storm, back when Blizzard actually had a full team working on that game. I am still a little salty about how they treated it. Just different games that I would, go through and kind of find my home. And then uh, when Warframe showed up, I had just transitioned from very, very small 3 days a week streams to my current format, 4 days a week, 4 hours. And Warframe would usually be on my schedule, anywhere from one night to 3 nights. And then another night I would switch it up just because I would try to interject some other games so that I didn't grow bored of it and I didn't burn out quicker. And so yeah, back to your original question. Yeah, it was more of I was a variety streamer who just happened to play a lot of Warframe, kind of teetering on that. I tried to do Warframe 4 nights a week. I couldn't do it. I love the game, but I needed a break, and you could see it on my face as a viewer that wow, maybe he should play something else and just kind of give his mind a break and have fun with something else. And that's honestly where I am now. I don't I still love Warframe. It's still a great game, but right now I'm kind of finding myself trying to find a home. Mostly try to say I'm a variety streamer who plays, the fast-paced games that I see a lot, but even then, I'm still trying to I feel like personally I'm still trying to find my home in the streaming world.
Well, it's a very long journey.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I kind of want to transition from your history, from where you were to where you were about at the beginning of the month. I would
Okay.
say is that when your big charity event was.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
So I want to start with the actual charity that you chose. To write love on her arms, if I had that right.
Yes.
Why did you choose to write love on her arms? I don't quite remember.
So in the months leading up to this event, which the event itself that I run, this is the first time I've done a charity stream for it. I ran it last year. Technically my stream anniversary. It's when I decided, okay, I'm going to take streaming seriously. I'm going to put as much time and effort into it. Last year it was fun. We had Mindless Johnny, my mod, make me a mod pack. He set it up through all the Twitch donations and bits and subs, and everybody, my community is just a bunch of sadists. They love watching me suffer. They absolutely love watching me suffer. And they would, here's people actually paying money to mess up my entire Minecraft run, which just blew my mind. So there was a lot of hype, at least on my end, coming into this year. To write Love on Her Arms, I did get to briefly talk with them at TwitchCon 2019. I've known about the group since 10 years ago when I was in college. Great organization, by the way. They do what they can to help people struggling with addiction, depression, self-injury, helping those that are thinking about, making the ultimate decision and ending their life. Um, and the big thing that really struck me with them was the months leading up to the charity stream, we were watching this giant, just unbelievably massive Me Too movement, kind of reverberate through the streaming community, where I was watching streamers that I have all the respect for in the world, streamers that I hold in high regard, that were coming out and talking about um, just talking about all these horrific things that people in power had done to them. And it was really hitting me in the heart to see really just all this pain. We talk about how bad Twitter is just because of all the bad takes and everything. Well, Twitter was just covered in nothing but pain and not suffering, but just pain and people that were sad and a lot of anger. A lot of anger that we have kind of swept all these problems under the rug. And Tiltify, the company that we all use but most of us use for different charity streams, in light of some stuff they had go on in their own house, they decided to work with To Love Honor Arms to put together a fund, to basically let streamers who had anything happen to them, apply for relief in seeking therapy and seeking any help that way. And when I saw that fund, I decided immediately that we were going to pivot from just having this wonderful night to actually raising money for the To Write Love in Our Arms fund. And if I remember correctly, To Write Love on Our Arms had a in-house goal of, I think, like $15,000 that they were going to match dollar for dollar, and they ended up blowing that out of the water. So I'm very excited to have myself and the community that I've built up be able to contribute towards that.
Yeah, I mean, you guys, I was there when you, for not most of it, at least half of that stream. Um and I heard by the time it had finished, you had raised actually I want you to say it cuz that's your community's
So
achievement.
I'm we're what, almost a month after it, and I'm still blown away by everything that happened. I we went in with we went in with a goal of $350. I took what I had actually made last year and said, okay, I feel like $350 is a great goal to set for this. And I even made just a simple little stretch goal for 500. And I remember sitting in my chair in shock at 3 a.m. when I finally rated and ended the stream sitting at $1,592. Just that still and always will blow me away. And I consider it one of my top moments in my streaming career. Like, I look at these lanyards that I have sitting by me in my little desk area, and as much as each one of those holds some great memories, it's very hard to find something that will top having so much fun for 12 hours, but also raising so much money to help others in the community. Because that's what it comes down to. We literally came together to help others by making me go through pain and suffering for 12 hours on Minecraft. And it was worth every second. It was worth every curse word I screamed at everybody. It was worth it was worth everything, period. Absolutely, period.
So you what were your honest expectations going into that charity stream?
I'll be honest, I was a little worried if we were going to hit the $350 for the goal. Like, my main goal was raising money for the fund, and honestly, just having fun. And anytime I do a charity stream, I get nervous. Um, it, it's the third time I had ever done a charity stream, and even the two before I'd had mixed results. DreamHack 2019, we raised money for One Up on Cancer, another really great group, one that's local here to the Dallas Fort Worth area where I am. We actually had a competition with the streamer who was sitting right by me, Miss Cat Dell, and I ended up beating her by $20. So I got to basically do like an ice bucket challenge on her, and we filmed that live. And then I had done another charity stream live from Landfest, 2019 in November, and we raised money for Trans Lifeline the week before, and I had actually extended it into the live streams at Landfest, and I actually came in well below my initial goal. And I think part of I hate to say failure, because we raised money that helped, support this trans hotline. So I don't want to say failure, but I felt like it was a failure because I came nowhere near any of my goals to help others. So I was very nervous because I had seen both good and bad. There was no in between, but I guess that happens when you don't have that many charity streams under your belt. And I just, more than anything, I was hopeful. I was really hopeful. This is a night that I know the mods hype up a lot. This is a night I hype up a lot. I was also worried I didn't announce it until kind of late. Like, we had all talked about it, but I hadn't pushed any official announcement about the charity stream. And I'm like, shoot, this I remember sitting at my desk at 3 p.m. just like, man, I'm ready for this. Like, I'm ready for the pain, but I really hope people end up showing up and we have this wonderful time. So expectations were very hopeful. But in all honesty, there was this tiny part of me that was ready for disappointment. And like I said, I'm still blown away by everything that transpired.
Well, what transpired was a lot of rage on that stream.
It was the best rage I've ever had. Like, there's the rage I go through when I'm playing Dark Souls 3, where I'm saying every curse word under the book and mentioning how much I hate this game. And then there's the rage of, oh no, somebody just donated $250 to set a nuke off in my Minecraft world. How dare they donate this money and cause me to have to set up a whole new house? Like, my anger towards having to just take off, run halfway across the map so I don't die and lose all my stuff. Like, that anger was replaced with, oh my gosh, we're actually getting this money raised. This is something that's actually happening. This is amazing.
And that nuke drop happened 3 times.
3 different new man. So the first time I did this, we had no nukes. We set one off at the 12-hour mark just to kind of be like, oh, hey, this is what it looks like. I've never seen one. Let's mark the end of the stream by just nuking everything we built. And then, gosh, we had a nuke go off probably like only a few hours into it. And that actually triggered the first goal. Because not just we had that $350 goal, that was to push the stream from 9 hours to 12 hours. I also had a very small one before that to trigger the 6-hour stream, because I slot it from 3 to 9. I say, okay, if we hit this little halfway goal, I'll go from 6 hours to 9 hours, so 3 p.m. to midnight. And then if we hit our overall goal, I'll go from midnight to 3 a.m. And we'll just kind of stretch the entire stream to do the full 12 hours. That nuke pushed us over the first goal and put us, I think we were just shy of $500. And that's when I'm like, well, guys, I had my stretch goal to play Dark Souls on stream for the first time, you know, right there at 500. And then, of course, everybody blew that out of the water. So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to make this up and be like, I'll do 4 straight days of Dark Souls so y'all can see all the pain on my face again if we hit 1,000. And then another nuke and more pain immediately. I think we were already over 1,000 by midnight. So I remember tweeting out the image, and I was in disbelief, trying to do this while also having everybody making sure that I was either getting killed or not able to do the simplest things.
I remember
And
watching that stream, and everyone was just like, "Destroy his house! Destroy his house!"
I was so tired of people, and it took me a while, and I finally got smart and realized if I run really, really, really quick into my house and do stuff, nobody will have time to throw a donation in because I'll see a donation pop up on my screen probably 5 seconds before the alert would go off, and when the item would hit my inventory, the rule was if a chance cube or anything like that hit my inventory, I had to drop it right then and there. So there would be a little lag between when I would see the donation hit on my screen and when the alert would go off and I would have it in my inventory. So I would try my best to get in my house, get my stuff, swap out whatever I needed. That way, if I died, I wasn't losing all my diamonds, which actually did happen like 2 or 3 times. All my diamonds, all my just anything I was mining for. And even trying that, you can't get around a bloodthirsty community like that. They will they will make you suffer, and it will be the best time ever.
Man, I regret not watching that whole stream.
I There were some times where I actually got some downtime during it, and it felt nice to just sit there and chat. Be glad you were not there at about 1:30 because that's when I went from tired Faxi to very loopy, not 100% there Faxi. And it's about 2:15 when they finally let up on me. And I got to do my one simple goal that I had all night of getting to the nether. And I think we actually time stamped it at 12 hours, 4 minutes. I stepped into the nether, I stepped back, I looked at the camera, I tried my best not to cry, said thank you, I don't know, probably 500 times, and then found somebody to raid, let them know that I was going to sleep, turned everything off, and just sat here and was like, wow, this really happened, and then slept the best sleep I've had in a while.
When you woke up the next morning, did you still believe it was real?
Waking it wasn't even the next morning. I think I woke up at like noon or 1 p.m. I I live with my dad, so I kind of told him what was going on and that I was probably going to be sleeping in. He had actually bought the Whataburger breakfast on a bun that morning, and he had it sitting in the microwave for me, so I got to have a champion's breakfast and just kind of soaking it in. I remember pulling up my OBS studio, and anytime I pull it up, the first scene it's always on is the webcam scene. Uh, I remember kind of going down and I unlocked the source for the charity stuff, and I see up there in the top left corner, goal 350 raised, $1,500, and just I had the biggest grin on my face. You can't, I cannot fully describe how happy I was to see that even just the next morning. Like I knew it was real. Even then, it's still just wow. Just wow, wow, wow. And I even just found, it was July 4th. I found the tweet I had actually put out. And I meant it when I said I was speechless. Just did not think it could happen. And I actually just found the one where you yourself clipped the moment when we passed 1K. And it was the second nuke that pushed us over $1,000. And you just see my face, like my mouth's just agape, just what? And then take a few seconds and realize, shoot, I need to run. A nuke's about to go off.
I remember that.
And even I'm looking because you even caught the donation thing. It's like, bet I wanted a hug and a snowman because you didn't meet my demands. I'm setting this off. So, oh no, somebody donated because I didn't listen to them. I guess I need to be more obstinate going forward.
If I remember correctly from that moment, the snowman had already died.
Yeah, and they wanted another snowman, and I was nowhere near a snow biome. And when you get hard-headed friends that are looking for any excuse to drop a nuke on you, there's no pleasing them. So I just kind of sat there and was like, you know what, let it happen. Just bring it. And sure enough, it did.
Yeah, those nukes destroyed a very, very large part of the map.
And if I remember looking at it correctly, because I know Minecraft loads in chunks. I guess that's the technical term they use, like the giant swaths of the map before you start, just to you can tell the computer like, hey, only load X amount of chunks. That way your RAM's not getting destroyed by this game. And the nukes were actually taking out an entire chunk, which is just massive. And not just that, it was blowing away. I know that two of the three, the nuke is so strong in the game, it blew through the bedrock. So if I would have walked over there, I would have fallen through layer 0, which is an automatic death in the game. So pretty much I would have fallen into the core of the world.
That's deep.
Very. And the third one we even set off on top of a mountain, so it was really weird to see. We had a wider, I guess, crater that we could actually examine from where that nuke went off, just because it was on the top of the mountain. And I remember two of the nukes actually their destruction kind of overlapped. And I remember going into creative mode just so we can skim over it and see, like, wow, this actually happened. Jeez. Just it worth it. 100% worth it.
Yeah, definitely worth it. So how did you feel like on stream when you broke past that initial 350?
Happiness. Pure happiness. Part of me was going to be a little God, what's the word I'm looking for? Um like just the realization, like, okay, you're sitting in for the full 12 hours. Like, I prepare my body for it. I pretty much I start to go into convention mode where I convince my body, hey, you're about to go 3 days, very, very, very little sleep, being up very, 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 very late. Get used to it and have fun. And I kind of prepared my mind for something like that. So when we passed the 350, I was telling myself again, okay, we're doing this. You better go. You better be ready. This is happening. And I mean, yeah, it was happiness. Happiness and then like 2% self-realization that yep, we're doing it.
Yeah, going all in.
literally, literally just that phrase right there, going all in, was playing in my head.
So, kind of changing gears just a little bit. How would you like describe your community?
Very lewd. That's the first thing I have to lead off with. Very lewd. They very much love watching me suffer as I play. Which, I mean, the Streamiversary Minecraft stream is probably the biggest show of that. And then having people actually telling me, hey, I can't wait for your one Dark Souls night a week where you get to suffer. Thanks, guys. I don't have fun playing this game, but you really love showing up to watch me go under. And despite how much they love watching me suffer on stream, I could not have asked for a more fun community. Just overall with my mods that I work with, my the people that I get to talk to every night. I am just unbelievably thankful for everything that's been put together over over these last 2 years. Started with, just maybe one or two IRL friends that would show up, and now it's grown to, one of my mods is from Scotland. I still can't believe any other industry, I probably would have never met him. And now I've got the Scottish guy that I talk to almost every night that I work with as part of the mod team. I've got, people from the Stream Texas community that I wouldn't have met if it wasn't for streaming. I've got, friends from, gosh, all over the world, all over the US that I hope to meet too. Like one of my regulars is somebody that I met at TwitchCon in 2019, which, side note, don't put yourself in debt trying to go to TwitchCon. I made that mistake, not fun. It blows me away all the people I get to talk to every night, and the genuine fun that I get to have and they get to have talking with me, and kind of being there. And that's even why I started doing these just chatting streams that I do on Mondays now, is I get to sit there and talk with these people and be lewd, be crude, and just have all the fun in the world.
Not to mention look at bad food.
The bad food thing was just a joke that I did the first time. I'm like, wow, I'm having fun ranking, doing top five bad food every night. Looking at, what was that first one? The Kraft mac and cheese and the Dino Nuggies, and that forever will be just 100% grade A, top of the list. Like, let's take this mundane stuff and make it look as pretty as hell. I'm all for it. And I'm actually probably going to try to make it here soon. Once human malware is finally eradicated, I would totally have friends over just to eat that. I'm not even going to lie. I will get the wine glasses out. I will fill them with the Kraft mac and cheese and Dino chicken nuggets and eat those with everybody.
Man, that sounds like a fun time right there.
Oh, it absolutely is. It absolutely is. Something I actually miss IRL is cooking it with giant groups of people. I'm self-admittedly, I'm a terrible cook, but there's a few things I can do okay. And I know in college and even, gosh, I want to say like, 9, 10, 11 years ago, 2 separate times I had giant friend groups and we would do a big Sunday dinner. And I know the second group, about 10 years ago, I would do once a month, it was hamburger night. And that was my night to just sit in the kitchen, put on some extremely loud dubstep, and just make burgers for everybody. And I would turn out, some smaller burgers. Everybody would have about 2 or 3. But just sit there, loud dubstep on. I'm just like flying through the kitchen, having all the fun in the world. Everybody's sitting at the table talking. I'm screaming at them from the kitchen. They're screaming at me to shut up and cook their food. A lot of fun. Absolutely a lot of fun doing that. And I would like to do it again, but obviously I have to wait for human malware to hurry up and get out of the way.
Yeah, a lot of stuff has been kind of retconned because of that.
You're not joking. Probably the biggest thing for me was DreamHack getting canceled. I was actually on the list to go ahead and stream live from the event again this year, and it was probably going to be another charity stream. Honestly, I had started talking to the mods like, "Hey, do y'all know anything that we should do this year?" And it got delayed to August. Oh shoot! Oh man, it would have been just a few weeks. No, sorry, I'm looking at my calendar and I'm realizing from now would have been the ultimate gaming week. Had everybody just stayed indoors originally, because we would have done, what was it, QuakeCon the first weekend of August, first or second weekend of August. and then it was going to be the delayed DreamHack 2020 the weekend after. So I would have actually taken off of work the Wednesday before QuakeCon all the way through the Monday after DreamHack. So a good 7-8 days off of work, and I would have just been absorbed in nothing but video games and gaming and seeing all my streaming friends. So once again, curse you, human malware. You've taken what would have been the perfect nerd weekend from me, because I know the original dates for DreamHack would have also been. I know Acon was going to run their convention in the same building at the same time as DreamHack, and they were offering joint passes, and I had mine ready to go, or not joint. I had my just my single pass to get into Acon since I was already getting into DreamHack. I was ready. I was so ready. So you can't see it, but I'm shaking my fist as I look up in the general direction of the heavens. How dare you take this from me?
Well, one thing it's kind of allowed us to do, I guess, more of is be on our computers and like watch Twitch streams and YouTube and Netflix, and you know, if you're a creator, it allows you more time to create stuff.
True, but at the same time, I'm honestly, my routine hasn't changed too much due to everything. The biggest thing is I'm very thankful that I work a corporate job that allows me to work from home through all this. So I am 5 days a week home based right now. So I have a little more time. I'm able to get a little more of a workout in before stream now, and I've been back in the office a few days, so I can see that that how that would affect everything. But at least on the weekends when I'm not streaming, that's really the time I kind of shut down, because streams run Monday through Thursday. Friday at 5 o'clock, you see my brain just fully turn off, and I start to take some time for myself, sit here, and that's when I kind of going back to Stellaris or something like that. That's when I really just sit in my chair. Everything's dark. I'll have my LEDs that are on my desk lit up, have some very loud music on, and just enjoy some time to myself, talk with some friends that I don't really get to talk to with everything going on, and really just reload. Because those 4 days that I'm streaming, I'm technically going from 8 a.m. when I start work or start my 8 to 5 job, um, end at 5, and then I've got 2 hours. I'll eat, take a little bit of decompression time, work out sometimes, grab a shower, try to drink all the water I can, and then 7 o'clock I'm back on. And it takes a different energy, I think, from my corporate job to streaming. So I really am by the time 11 o'clock hits, I'm pretty tired. I'm pretty tired and I need to sleep. So Friday, not having the stream there, I can kind of decompress and truly, and that's when you see me really catch up on sleep. I know over the weekend during the weekdays I probably sleep only about 6 hours a night, which for some people are like, wow, you get a full 6 hours. For me, I need way more. So the weekend easily, oh, sorry, my alarm went off. The weekend's easily 10 to 12 hours a night, just so I can catch up on everything. And I wish I didn't have to sleep so much. I would like to be able to take some time, record some YouTube videos, do some other projects that, shoot, I don't know how many projects that are sitting on the shelf that I would love to be able to do, but just I need that time to recuperate. I need that time to kind of reload so that I can give it my all when I'm live, for these 16 to 20 hours that I am every week.
That's basically a part-time job.
I tell people I have 2 jobs now. I used to call street, I used to say, "Oh, I've got a job and I've got a hobby." I Even when I started taking Twitch streaming seriously, I never actually said, "Oh, this is a job." And at the end of the day, I or not yeah, at the end of the day, I mean, I have to file this on my taxes. And I've now got like the self-employed QuickBooks that I keep up for any streaming related expenses. This is legitimately a job. So when people ask me, oh, what do you do for work? Oh, well, I've got two jobs that take up easily 60 hours a week during the weekdays. And even on the weekends, I'm doing small things like setting up a schedule, kind of going through whatever games I'm going to play. Very, very easy stuff. And even trying to look and see, hey, what are some small minor upgrades that I can do? Although we all know how good I am at upgrading things, as the last time I opened my computer and touched it, I went through 2 weeks of stream shutting off because I just had to put a corrupted stick of RAM in there and then go through, I don't know, like 20 or 30 other things before I realized, oh no, it's this bad RAM.
Dude, computers are complicated.
They're complicated, but I love them. Like, I'm looking at this. I even go back to streaming. I bought this gaming computer for streaming first. I was gaming on the laptop. I was streaming and gaming on the laptop. I had one of the Lenovo. It was technically a ThinkPad, but they had launched their first wave of the specifically gaming related laptops. It had like a really nice i7 in it. It was $1,000 laptop. I got it for a tax return, and I'm realizing now I could have had a good PC years ago had I not bought that flipping laptop. But at the time, I didn't really have room for I didn't have room for a PC. Because when I started streaming, I was actually living with one of my exes, and then when I moved home, I still didn't really have room for a PC. And then I remember just getting the hype, and I'm like, I'm doing it. I'm gonna do it. And then, um, gosh, 2 years ago, I did the official unboxing stream for this PC. Like, I know everybody gives flack to those who buy pre-builts, but I don't know what I don't know what I'm doing with computers. I had never watched Linus Tech Tips or Gamers Nexus. I didn't realize honestly how easy it is to get in there as long as you're grounded, because that stuff basically goes together like Legos. And but I didn't know that. I didn't have the time. I didn't have the patience. I just went with the pre-built. And funny thing about that I tell people when I was doing the unboxing stream, you see this slight moment of panic when I take off the back panel, and you kind of see me shift away, and nobody really paid attention to it. They thought, oh, maybe he just maybe slid something in wrong. Uh, the bottom right, when I'm looking at the tempered glass panel side, the bottom right of my case, I've got the little tray where you put the hard drives in. And this thing shipped with a 3.5, 2 terabyte hard drive. I had actually tried to pull the tray out from the back of the PC because when it arrived in shipping, it was cockeyed. So I'm like, shoot, the hard drive's probably busted. The computer fired up, no problem. So that wasn't the problem. The problem was it was cockeyed in there, and I didn't want it to fall and possibly corrupt since it's a mechanical hard drive. So when I was trying to pull it out, I accidentally ripped the SATA cord that connects to the motherboard, and I didn't just rip it. Like, part of the SATA cord actually was still implanted in the back of the hard drive. So there was sheer panic that I immediately erased so nobody could see it on stream. And I'm like, oh, hey, look at all this cool stuff in here. I turned stream off. And then I truly start to panic because I may have just messed up this hard drive in this, $900 machine I just bought. And I've got a Best Buy probably 10 minutes away from me. It's the closest electronics store. They were closing. Yeah, it was about 10 minutes away. They were closing in 8 minutes. And I made it there in 5. We're not going to talk about how much I sped to get there. Got a new SATA cable. I feel bad because I run in and the guy's like walking to shut the door. And he's about to put his finger up to say we're closing. And I just like panic yell at him. Like, I know what I need. 2.5 SATA cable. Really bad. Computer not firing up. and the dude kind of catches himself and he's like, "Okay, I got you." Runs me back. We find the only till in the store that hasn't been put up. Grab the cable, get me up front. I'm thanking them for, putting up with me because I hate being that customer after working in retail for so long that shows up right before close. I made sure not to look at all the other pretty shiny toys that Best Buy had and just, yeeted myself out of there, went home, and it took a good hour to get the pins of the old SATA cable out because I don't know how I ripped it. It was bad. But I was able to plug it back in, and everything's, to this day, still up and running. Just note to self: make sure you give your computer a once over, or you give other computers a once over, so you know what you're looking at, so that when you do a live stream, you don't, completely separate components.
Yeah, that's
I still laugh at myself. I still cannot believe I ripped that thing so terribly. Ugh. I'm not the brightest. I'll just say that point blank. I'm not the brightest. Like, I'm glad everything works now. And since then, I've done a few upgrades to it. Like, I've added a solid state, which putting that SATA cable in was no problem. A few other hard drives. I swap. God, the video. We're not going to talk about the video card. Like, now I'm good, but back then, ugh, I didn't know what I was doing, and I almost paid dearly.
so I kind of want to pivot towards your stream one more time.
Okay, no problem.
We were talking about your community earlier.
Yes.
What advice would you say if someone asked you for advice on building a community? Like, what would you tell them?
That's something I have been asked a few times. And jeez, that it's such a in all honesty, I don't know how to answer it. I really don't. When people ask me, they follow it up with, "Well, how'd you build yours?" I just tell them I was myself online. So, I mean, technically I cosplay. I cosplay as this Greek god, but 99% of what everybody sees online is how I am IRL. It's how I am in my day to day. Loud, boisterous, very not as lewd. The lewd I do kind of push a little bit, just because that's kind of become part of my shtick. Um, I would, sitting here thinking about it, I would say the number one thing, if you're building it strictly from a streaming perspective, staying true to either who you are, if you're conveying yourself, or to the character you're portraying. You know, I'll I know he's banned, but I'll use him as an example. Doctor Disrespect stayed true to the character he portrays. Doctor Lupo stays true to himself as a person, because it obviously, if you're doing a character, you're kind of faking it until you make it. And in a way, the character kind of becomes a big part of yourself. Just staying true to what you're portraying, I feel like, was the big thing. Um, Also, like, outside of streaming, I'm a part of so many different communities, but at the same time, I'm not pushing them to, like, "Hey, come check out my content. Here's my links. Here's everything. Why are you not here? Why are you know? How dare you not come say hi to me? Why won't you come love me?" I'm not doing any of that. It's just, I'm talking to these people. I'm having fun with them. I'm sharing these experiences, and through that, when you have fun with others, they've kind of decided, "Hey, maybe I will go check it out. Maybe I will see what they're about." And really, that's what's led to where I am now. By no means will I call myself a big streamer, but I would be dumb to say I don't have some success in the streaming world. And I'll even say I do the bare minimum. I just stream. I don't push out extra content on different platforms like they talk about if you want to get like big, just because, like I mentioned earlier, I need that time to kind of reload to myself. So I'm very thankful for what I have, and I've worked hard to get what I've had. But in working hard, really, I'm just talking with people, having fun with them, true networking, which is making friends. Yeah, I feel like most of the people who've come to my stream have been friends that I've made at cons and these Discord groups, at these local events. And that makes streaming so much more fun to have this group of friends that I get to see. So if you're looking to build a community of friends, I would say that's probably the big thing. These local events, these Discords, and not pushing yourself, but just interacting with them, talking with them, having these shared experiences, asking for help if something does come up. It's a lot easier for me to support somebody if I talk with them every day, our values align. um, and I it's somebody that I feel like I could call friend at the end of the day. It's a lot easier for me to sit, to go to their stream, to support them, to monetarily support them. So it's a slow build, but it's personally, I feel like it's the best way to build a community.
I would completely agree with that. Um, Curious, how long have you been in the Stream Texas community?
Stream Texas, I actually blame for the reason why I got into streaming, as serious as I am. It's been a little over 2 years. I was supposed to go to the spring 2018. I remember they were doing kind of like 3 or 4 events a year way back when. And I was supposed to go to an event early 2018 and I had to back out. And I was mad at myself, like, man, I'm missing out. And me and an ex girlfriend went to the Stream Dallas meetup at the Rock in Arlington, May 2018. And it was one of those nights where I kind of knew, hey, it feels like something special. And in the end, I ended up meeting the Uber Ginger, the wonderful, wonderful woman that I have immense amount of respect for, who runs the Dallas chapter for Stream Texas.
Wasn't her
Um,
birthday like a few days ago?
it was yesterday.
That's right. That's right.
It was yesterday because we were shouting happy birthday to her. And funny enough, it would have been 1 year from when I got to go. Sorry, I'm gonna kind of be like, look at me. It would have been 1 year from when we did the Stream Texas meetup at what was it, at Free Play in Arlington, because I remember that being her birthday. She had the tiara on, and that was the first time I'd ever been on the front page of Twitch because we were doing the live stream and we were interviewing people, and I about had my heart fall in my stomach the whole night because she's like, "Okay, you're about to go live in front of a hell of a lot of people." Because sure enough, whenever you pulled up twitch.tv, one of the first streams that would pop up on that top bar was our Stream Texas one. And I remember doing that first segment. I was flipping petrified. And the rest of the night just went beautifully and smoothly. And I had more fun than anything.
Oh yeah,
Um,
I would be terrified if I was in your shoes too.
oh, I was. Once I got through the first part, it was all gravy. And I could probably do it again now and have no problem with it. But um, going back to that Stream Texas thing, I remember meeting her at the first one, and a bunch of us, we may or may have not been a little intoxicated, screaming "All Star" at the end of the night. But oh, there is a video that I took that is floating around Twitter of about 20 of us all scream singing it. Definitely after having a few drinks. It was an infamous moment. But it wasn't just that. It was that night they were doing like the giveaways at the end, and we had a rep there from DreamHack, and they were giving away 2 tickets to DreamHack Austin, which was exactly 1 week after the meetup. And my ex-girlfriend's number got called for those tickets, and she quickly shoved the ticket into my hand because she didn't, she has anxiety. She didn't want to be the one to go get it. And she shoves it in my hand real quick, and she looks at me, and she looks down at the ticket, looks back at me, and nods. And I look at the number, and Uber Ginger's calling it again, thinking, "Oh no, they probably left. We're gonna have to give it to somebody else." And I like hold it up, and I'm like, "Ah!" And that actually, oh jeez, I kind of made my manager mad because I took off of work for that Thursday and Friday to travel down to Austin on very little notice. She wasn't happy with me, but it was worth it. And I just took it off the wall. I'm looking at the lanyard right now. DreamHack Austin 2018 was where I decided I was going to take streaming seriously like I do. And I'll never forget the moment. It was the Saturday of the convention, late at night. Like we had just been to the Stream Texas meetup at one of the bars, and we went to an after party at another bar. I had Bastion in the AM, King Nerdlord, Pixelated Platypus, and I think a few others. My ex-girlfriend was there, and a few others, and we were sitting at this table kind of near 6th Street in Austin, and we're drinking adult root beer floats. And it's hot, and I'm sweating. I'm glad I didn't have my toe at that point. I had switched to real clothes. We're sweaty, we're hot, but we're having so much fun. And we kind of had this moment of peace where we're all sitting there like, hey, this is a pretty good life. And that's when it finally clicked, like, I really want to be a part of this Twitch thing. I really want to be a part of this content creation thing. I really want to give it my all and have as much fun as I can and have more experiences like this. And it was at that moment that I decided, okay, we're going to go in. We're going to go hard, and we're going to do this. And I look back on that moment with a lot of happiness and just really glad that I decided to do it because, 2 years later, a little over 2 years later, I'm getting to sit here, talk to you about it, and think back on all these experiences that I've had. I'm I am truly thankful to streaming for the doors it's opened up. Getting to work with Stream Texas now as a committee member and help drive these future events. Just because I love the community and what the doors it opened up for me. And now all I want to do is just give back to it. So hopefully another thing I get to say when human malware passes, I cannot wait to get back to putting together these wonderful events and hopefully having somebody else come to an event that has doors opened up for them and kind of spark that moment like I had sparked for me.
That is wonderful. Just gonna say that right off the bat. Um, so just a quick little thing: if you are in the state of Texas and you are a Twitch streamer, look up Stream Texas.
Yes, 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 yes. We have a public Discord that I believe you can actually search for it now. We didn't used to have that, but you can search for it. Join the room. If you are a Texas streamer, there's a little application button where you can actually, I guess, technically join the, like we have the public rooms, and then we've got like a member room. We've got like a swap room for anybody who's looking to sell equipment and some who are looking to buy. We have different business partners who post opportunities. We've got spots for talking about charity streaming. But join, put in, there's like a little small application you can fill out to get into like the member area, and I'm air quoting, can't see it. So it's not really like, hey, you're a member of Stream Texas. It's more of just hey, we've got this little area where we all talk, and we're goofy as hell in there. We
When
don't.
you're not talking about food.
Oh yeah, the food. And I'm looking. Somebody posted my terrible idea about eating that McDouble inside a cheesy gordita crunch in there. Which thanks, gamer citizen. I see you. Um, it's what I like about the group. We all stream, and there are times we don't want to talk about streaming. like, yeah, we've got a room in there for, talking about if people have questions about upgrades and, sharing some tips, but a lot of it, we're not talking about streaming. Obviously, we're talking about video games because that's a big passion for a lot of us, but we're also talking about life. We're talking about, just different things going on with us. And because we all need to decompress, and when you're in a room of friends, you don't want to, we don't have to keep up that facade of we're always networking, we're always working. We actually get to drop it and be like, oh, hey, you are a friend. Let's talk about drinking beer and eating pizza and having a good time. So yes, join Stream Texas, please. I love seeing new faces. I love getting to meet new people in there, and you get to see me make a fool of myself.
All right. I think that is just about all the time we have for today. Thank you again for being on the show. Do you have any closing thoughts or any shout outs or content recommendations you have?
Have fun. If you're streaming, try your best to have fun. I mean, that's probably the big thing. That I started by having fun, and now I get to have even more fun. Shout outs, I mean, Stream Texas, definitely to you, Dave. Thank you very much for having me on. I very thankful to be here and to get to talk about some of the stuff. Shout outs to I'll shout out the charities I've worked with. Trans Lifeline, great charity that offers a 24/7 line for any trans folks who need somebody to talk to. They offer micro grants for people who are in the middle of transitioning to help them. They can apply for these micro grants to help pay for like ID changes and name changes, which can, over time become very costly. One Up on Cancer, helping adults who are battling cancer pay for their bills, basically be able to still have a life while dealing with these very expensive cancer treatments. To Write Love in Our Arms, great group that helps with, people dealing with self-harm, suicide, everything like that. And yeah, once again, absolutely thank you for having me on. I'm absolutely enjoyed this.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure.
100%. Oh, sorry if you can hear my computer yelling at me. But no, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you.